So welcome to the internet. We today have Severin. Is that the right way to pronounce your name? I keep meaning to ask that. I meant to ask before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Severin's great. I don't even use Severin on the internet. I usually go with Sev though, I
Sev.
guess. But it takes,
Gotcha.
You gotta figure it out a little bit. You know what
You
I
gotta
mean?
feel it
I
out.
figured I would come to the internet and the internet would choose what to name me.
Severin's a really cool name. You shouldn't sit on it too long.
Maybe that's the one.
I would not let the internet name me because they would call me a plebe.
It's an excellent point.
Or simp or Pega. I don't know what these things are yet.
See, you're insulting me. You're insulting me, and I don't know what the hell you mean.
No, I don't mean you. I just mean in general. If the internet's coming up with names,
oh,
it can be
not
anything.
me, my mother.
Okay, we can stick with that
one. So Sev, you were actually working on something interesting the other day, and I feel like I have to bring it up because we're going to be talking about e-commerce today anywei. What is the Seve bar? As you drink.
the Sev bars, the
Sev bars
or Sevs.
We've named them several different things.
Yeah, name pending.
But right.
I tried to start a cryptocurrency. Well, not a cryptocurrency, a crypto.
You started a crypto token.
Technically, we did create in a live stream an ERC20 crypto token. But I did immediately lose the wallet for that token.
I told you.
yeah, it happened pretty quick.
I might have mine.
But it was on a test network. It was just kind of I just wanted to see how you would go through the process of creating it. Because I think it would be cool if people could buy something that roughly corresponds to like your success or how awesome you are, and then the value goes up over time. And that's like a cool way of people being able to invest in a person and like kind of see that investment. Like basically, if you help somebody out early on, you're helping them a lot more than helping out somebody later on, right? Like 1 viewer to a stream is a lot at the beginning, is nothing when you have 1 million. And same for any subscription or something like that. So I want people to feel the impact of that early contribution. And the same phenomenon happens in startups when you get early investment. It's such a big contribution. That first $10,000 in, that's enormous to the success of a startup. Later on, they'll be getting millions and then burning it on random things, and it won't matter as much. But at the beginning, it means a lot. So I wanted people, I think in general, people should have personal tokens. And it's a cool way to just grow alongside somebody who you believe in. But I tried to start it. I think the problem I'm dealing with now is we were able to create it, and it might be possible to have a little bit of a market going around it, but the transaction fees are so high that it seems like it would be difficult to use it for anything real, to like be able to cash it in for text to voice on stream or anything like that. But we were able to make one.
That's you brought up a good point with the like a startup. It's like, oh, I invested this amount of money and now it's worth this amount of money. It's like, oh, I bought a SevCoin when it was $1 and now it's worth like $100,000. Did Sev like blow up overnight? And you go check. It's like, oh, he has 1,000 viewers all the time.
Yeah.
And
you can also feel if you make a mistake, there's like a sell-off, right?
Right. And it's like, oh, Sev did something bad.
Yeah, it really makes that roller coaster of everything. People make mistakes, and like just making that roller coaster visible or tangible in some way is just a really cool idea to me. And I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
I dig it. Like when I saw the name of the stream, it was like, I get what you're going for. Immediately was sold on it.
Yeah.
Have you messed with crypto much? Sure.
One of my questions about crypto is I haven't really seen anybody do crypto very well on a major SaaS platform, unless Shopify has. I think Shopify might have some way to take it.
It's just not great from what I've read.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a real good experience on e-commerce
That's
yet.
what got me watching Sev stream was I wonder if I could kind of follow these same steps, do the same thing on like because I've been building a BC app and use it to make payments for their BC products or whatever. So that's definitely kind of the same reason that I was looking at it too.
Now, a BC app for our viewers who
Yeah, no,
are
that's
maybe
a great,
new to BC.
Big
it's a great
commerce.
call out. It's a great
Oh,
call
big
out.
commerce, big commerce.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
British
Now that
Columbia.
it feels like I just did like I was like leading into a promotion, but I actually didn't know what you were referencing.
No, that's very fair. Because it's such a there's like so many terms like that too. Just being a part of the big commerce culture for so long is like I'll say big same still all the time. It's just like ingrained in my DNA at this point, and that's just a big commerce meme. There's just like memes all around there.
Dude, yeah, there's a lot of meme. There's also a lot of acronyms within.
Right,
It's pretty funny because I've been there. I was there until a year ago, basically. And I was there when there were 60 people, and then all these people come in, they make all these stupid acronyms, and it gets so bad at some point that some of them get reused. I'm like,
yeah,
like, that didn't mean that before. The way you said that was kind of weird, but no, it was kind of funny. They were acronym happy. So Seb, tell me a little bit though about, so you're a serial entrepreneur, right?
Attempting to be. Yeah.
Attempting to be. Okay.
More of a serial failure at the moment, TBA. Like it's like you can start a lot of businesses, but until you have like one success, I don't think you get the title serial entrepreneur. But I'm still going through the phases, raising money.
Your website says serial entrepreneur. I think that's kind of.
Oh, did I say it? Oh, never mind. I'm a serial entrepreneur for sure.
Were you leading to? Okay, I wasn't sure if you had another question, Jeremy.
Oh no. I was just, I was kind of wondering. Sev intrigues me.
He intrigues me too.
He seems like a really smart and very charismatic. So, like to me, like when somebody tells me I'm a serial entrepreneur and I've failed, I'm just waiting to see what this guy does next. That's not a failure. Because I have a feeling that he has what it takes to do something really cool. I mean,
you sound like somebody who could use some SevCoins. Let my pyramid scheme begin.
Let's
donations. Your donation scheme.
Just as long as I'm at the top and know when I can cash out early.
See, exactly. You just got to make sure you're at the top.
Yeah, make sure at the top.
And
then he'll sell his SevCoins to his employees.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's one of my concerns is I don't know if what I would like to try to do is never sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he would give you the coin.
Yeah, I don't need to make money off of them ever, in theory. I mean, it's not really that important for me to make money from my perspective. Like if you grow a network around you, you're going to make, there's going to be value in that network, and it's to reward supporters. It's not a way of funding me. I should be able to figure that out in other ways. Yeah. Like the network is an independent thing. It's more of like an observation on what I'm doing, not how I do, It's not supposed to be that influential to some extent. If that makes any sense. There's other ways to do this, guys.
I love it. If that makes any sense.
So what I'm trying to build is a marketplace. And with the marketplace, you have that kind of instant value if you have the right apps on it. And I lost my train of thought, but
what kind of marketplace do you want to build?
So I want to build I want it to be like the App Store, Google Play Store, Mac OS Store, Windows Store, but open source.
For what?
For anything. So that's the other thing. So
is it when you say marketplace, do you mean like Amazon or one for apps?
Amazon for apps. That's a good way to put it.
Amazon for apps. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
No worries. So are you just leaving? Well, there goes one.
So an Amazon for apps, how does that
so
Sorry.
like on an iPhone, I don't think you can install things off the App Store, right?
Right.
yes, you can. You totally can. You can sideload apps.
Okay.
This one guy's
Oh,
doing
yeah,
it with Delta. It's like this iOS simulator that lets you play DS games or whatever. And so that'd be part of it, would be having to go to these companies and saying, hey, I'm doing something really weird. Can we like officiate this? Like this other guy's doing it, but totally sketchy. Like you have to enter your Apple details to do it. Like what if I did that, but legal? And so that I have to build that out before they're even going to care. But I'm focusing more on the web right now because the web's just open and yeah.
So this is like kind of a big idea with Epic, taking Fortnite off the Apple Store and basically wanting Apple to stop taking that 30% cut or whatever they take off apps, right?
Right, and so that'd be part of it too. Is like, I don't care if Apple gets their 30%. That's going to be up to the developer as far as like, hey, you checked off Apple as part of your app entry or whatever. Apple's going to take 30%. You agree to this, right? And then figure that out with however Apple deals with it. Because like they have in-app purchases already. It'd just be like that, but through a third party.
Why doesn't this exist already?
It doesn't. Like it does and it doesn't. Like there's ways of doing it. It's like making your own crypto. It would take a night, but
Okay,
I'm trying to get around middlemen, as many middlemen as I can.
Yeah. Is this going to exist on the dark web?
If somebody wants to build that out, totally. But I'm not fair. I don't know enough about it.
I don't either. What is your favorite e-commerce app, by the way?
Me or Seve?
Any of y'all? If Sev has one, Sev, do you have one?
Can I say Amazon.com?
No.
Sure.
No,
Wait, so
no, you can't. You say it again, I'm gonna slap the what out of you.
I just in the e-commerce community, I've just said something very offensive, I can see, and I apologize.
Amazon is like a venereal disease in the e-commerce world.
A venereal disease. Now we all know what a venereal disease is, right?
We don't talk about it
this real quick.
because that's gross and it's inappropriate. Right.
So okay,
I'm just gonna bleep out the word venereal.
Amazon.
Who really?
Oh, that's why you walked out.
Who gives a damn if they own 45% of the market? Probably
45% of the market.
65%, yeah.
The e-commerce market in America is like 45 or 48% Amazon. And then the other 52% or whatever is all us plebes.
Even Walmart? Walmart's got to be. Is Walmart got any points
they're
in there?
pretty small.
Not really small compared to Amazon.
The old
Amazon.
Jet.com. Have you guys heard of that?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, Amazon's just beating the hell out of all of us. And Jeff Bezos sitting on a big stack of money laughing about it. I mean, but it's like you said, he would have to, if he cashed out, it would take a lot. So,
yeah.
And he does
He's
support,
sitting on theoretical.
Support a lot of jobs too. He does support a lot of jobs. So in certain places.
Whoa.
I think it's interesting.
Jeff Bezos off topic too. We got a Jeff Bezos guardian over here. Okay. All right.
So, fuck Amazon, but Jeff Bezos, he's all right.
Hey, no.
I just role reversed you.
I know. And
You're getting better at this. What was it we were talking about?
I think for our audience should know
Power
that,
moves.
like in a previous conversation,
yes.
I defended Jeff Bezos.
Well, oh, okay.
And because I want you to like me, I tried to defend him, and then you threw it back on me like that, and then my brain just quit working.
Sev's just practicing power moves since we started talking about it the other day.
I do practice power moves.
No joke, man. Way to move around on us, man. He's gonna jump through the screen and DDT me in a second. Do you code? Do you code? Are you a coder?
I am a coder. I've been coding all day, in fact.
Oh, well, you're just probably an interesting cat.
I lied. I went on YouTube.
I'm just joking.
I was like, yeah, me
And then
too,
I
on
tweeted,
YouTube.
I'm so sad. I've been on YouTube all day or something like that. Sad face, which is a very confusing first world tweet. You know what I mean?
Did you really tweet
Why
that?
are you sad?
What'd you see on
Sounds like you had a
YouTube?
pretty fun day.
No, dude. I'm just afraid now that you're gonna send me an email with a link in it.
Oh no.
And then my computer just fades out on me, and it's all curtains from there.
That's
It'll look
right.
like Matrix.
That's right. I can definitely hack a computer with a link. What system are you on? I don't know if I'm
on a Mac.
On
Are
a
they have
Mac?
spearfishing for Macs?
Mine would just say "nice try."
Yeah, Mac would.
Finder
Mac would
smile.
shut me out. I don't know how to hack anything. Disclaimer.
Speaking of security, though, like security, would any of y'all use like LifeLock or any of that stuff? Any
I
thoughts
don't personally.
Oh, like identity fraud security?
like identity fraud, personal security, stuff like that. I was just wondering, y'all are smart, and I figured y'all might know something.
I feel like I do more
password
manager.
manager.
Yeah, I use LastPass. It's
Oh
that's
yeah,
what I use.
LastPass is like, dude, and I love the feature that builds those crazy passwords so nobody can guess it, and there's no way in hell you're gonna remember it.
Yeah.
You just better hope you never lose your way into LastPass, or you are screwed.
Oh yeah,
Truly.
yeah.
Truly.
I've got so many accounts out there. It's just,
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that's making passwords really difficult on the internet, though, this is like maybe a lesser known fact. All these sites are having you do symbols and like numbers and all of that,
Mhm.
And that's when I had to start using a password manager, because you can't do anything about it. But that's not best practice anymore. Best practice for preventing people from doing passwords that hackers can figure out is just to not allow anybody to enter the 10,000 most common passwords. Like,
what's your most common password?
Mine? I used to have one.
I'll tell you what. You message that to me on the side here.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Make sure it's attached to your bank account in some way. That's fine.
Right? Yeah. Find
Let
a
me
way
go
in.
update my bank info. Yeah.
I do wonder, like, it's definitely true that I must be hackable right now. Like, I don't believe that, like, all these, like, big people got hacked, like Elon Musk's Twitter got hacked and all these other people get hacked. Like, I believe there was some avenue they could be hacked, right? And so I do think that I'm probably exposed in some way, and it'd be interesting to know what the path is, right? Like, if it starts at my Neopets account, like Neopets had their entire database leaked, right? So all the passwords were in there. And so maybe it like starts at the Neopets account I used to have, and they use that to get into like an old email, which is the recovery email for some other site, I'd love to see it.
What kind of perverted shit is Neopets?
You haven't heard of it?
Dude, no. What the hell is that, dude?
Like how people wear costumes and then
furries?
That has nothing to do with that.
So you've heard of it? You're one of us? No, I'm just kidding. Guys, I don't want to get that community sick on me. Kyle, is this off topic?
No, Neopets, you can buy things with fake money.
Neopets is e-commerce. Actually, I had a Neopets store. So that was
my
start to that was my start to e-commerce right there. I had a store. I sold snowballs.
Weren't those like 500 Neocoin things?
Yeah. Yeah. I sold jelly and snowballs on a Neopets store.
When was this? Last year?
No, this would have been like 2006. I don't know. Neopets is really old.
Oh, okay, good.
It's like an online pet thing. You could have a pet online. Neopets.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, this is before you discovered girls, right?
Right.
Probably,
Before
yeah.
I knew
Right
about
before
that,
that.
went on the
Or
internet and had a
or have you discovered them yet? I'm just wondering.
Well, I still talking about Neopets, so ooh, I don't know because so we when we started it, I think we created 69,420.
Yeah.
But I think when I actually do it, I might not pick that because so like you can't predict the future, and I don't know how it will last. Now 69 is a timeless concept. I'm not concerned about 69. If we did 69 million, it wouldn't be a problem. 69, timeless concept. I don't think it's going to be considered controversial. We're through that era of mankind where sex things are bad. We've like past it. But 420, I don't know, because marijuana is being legalized all over now. I don't know what marijuana will be like in 50 years.
Well, it'll probably get you high still.
I imagine so. That'll probably stay the same.
If it doesn't, I'm going to make this prediction. You hold me to it. If it doesn't, people won't smoke it.
Maybe it'll do something else. Maybe it'll.
Cigarettes
make you an
don't get you
e-commerce
high. People still smoke. Yeah.
Oh wow. Ooh, okay, that's an interesting topic. Buying CBD and other marijuana-related things on the internet. Do you know much about that, Jeremy?
No.
Oh, damn. I'll just throw in a. Somebody at BigCommerce does, because we got it going. I think it was someone in sales. I don't know a lot about it either. But you can totally, pending legal stuff that you have to do, like as a seller, you can sell CBD stuff on a BigCommerce store, assuming it's legal in your state.
But here's the thing that I don't get with CBD, man. Like, it's all over the place. Like, some states you can sell flour in, which is the plant, the nugs. And
wait, I'm sorry. The plant is called a nug.
No, the
flower.
The little flower, the little. Yeah, never mind. Look it up.
Well, you can find stuff if you Google it.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, how would you describe that? What is a nug?
It's like they just call it flour.
Okay, yeah, it's a flower. A flower nug is just like a little like, I think it's like a.
So from what I've read, I'm currently in Texas, but when I was in Colorado, you would grind this stuff up, and you would put this in your little joint and smoke that.
Yeah, but why would you? I've used CBD before, and I think it's snake oil.
It's very mild.
For the most part, it helps people with like epilepsy and stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I kind of think weed would probably help them more.
Maybe. I use CBD
the
for
thing
back
that's being
pain.
legalized. It's not like marijuana proper.
It's like a
CBD has no THC in it.
Yeah.
Oh, so
it's not going to get you high.
A big deal.
Yeah.
Right. It won't let you. Okay.
CBD is more for like anxiety or pain or epilepsy, like you were saying. Like I used it for back pain, and it worked pretty well for me.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
I had patches though. It wasn't like eating anything.
My buddy gave me some of this stuff, CBD rub. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you can really see it. Oh, there it is.
That's better.
Oh, yeah.
CBD rub, and the name of it's like Kaya Organics, I think. And
CBD's legal in Texas for the record.
It's not illegal in Texas. Did you say it's illegal?
It's legal. It is legal.
No, but the first time that because I had to go see one of these places. So
first
time I went into one of these places, I looked on their counter. They had a jar of the flour.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean,
I did the same thing.
If you why would you bother smoking something if you wouldn't be getting high? Is what I don't understand. Like, unless
like an ointment makes more sense.
I mean, it seems like it would have to have a really big impact for somebody to want to smoke it. Just
I have a friend who she smoked it for anxiety, and she said it worked. I haven't. That's not. I haven't used it
No.
for that reason before.
That sounds like anecdata.
Ayo.
Boom. Huh? No?
Yes. Yes.
I think people will just smoke things.
So this brings me to, like those stupid things a little bit like you do when you're a kid and stuff. Like, were y'all ever the kids that like caught stuff on fire or experimented with stuff? I was always the
Oh, yeah.
inquisitive kid. Like, we would
Yeah, no,
blow
exactly.
stuff up. Got into high school, found a place that was a graveyard for tulips. We'd pick them up in my pickup truck, take them out, and blow them up in the country. It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
But I would kill my kid if I caught him doing that.
Right. No, it's interesting how like we grew up versus how people are growing up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what got me into like computer stuff was like, well, I'm starting to get in trouble for the stuff I do outside. What if I start doing it inside instead?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Seb, where are you out of?
I grew up in upstate New York.
And where are you now? Like
now I'm in Boston.
Boston, okay. I couldn't remember.
I spent most of my life in like not New York City, New York.
Gotcha.
Always with snow. Always with
snow. Yeah, we don't get that here.
That's snow? Why you want to come to Austin.
Yeah, I would miss snow. So anytime there's a nice day outside, I feel guilty for staying inside because my parents were always like, go outside, but then like I didn't know what to do outside in the middle of suburbia. So I always feel guilty if there's a nice day. But if there's snow, I'm like, nice. I'm gonna warm up my feet and plop myself down and not worry about a thing. Nothing else. What else am I gonna do?
So that's like Texas, but the opposite. You can go outside and burn to death, or stay inside and not die.
Yeah. The same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I gotta stay out of there.
Yeah, dude.
Unless it's like today where it just dropped.
I grew up in West Texas where it's dry heat out in the desert, right? And so you had to drink water constantly, or you just like, and every bit like, like if you're in somewhere that has some moisture in the air and it gets a little hot, the moisture will collect. And in West Texas, you see somebody and they're wet, it's pure sweat. It's all crap that was squeezed out of their skin that their body said, no, get the hell out. We don't like you. And they stink, and they talk about stinky little kids so now as an adult, I really hate it when it's super hot. And then I moved to a hotter place in Austin that's actually hotter because of the humidity. But at least here, if you get wet, it's not all,
it's not all sweat.
Not all human fluid.
Yeah, you fluid. It's just, but I feel like this is a little happier medium. If you go down to Houston, it's just like you open the door when it's hot and you're just
yeah.
It's like they throw a bucket of water on you. It's just miserable. My sister lives there, and I couldn't. And she lives in a beautiful house on a golf course,
Right.
And
I'm very fortunate to have escaped Houston.
Yeah, I can't do Houston.
So Texas is drier because it's like landlocked, right?
That's depending where you're at.
Yeah, it depends where you're at. It's 18 miles or 18 hours across the state.
Ooh.
You can stay in the same state for I think it's 18 hours from Houston to El Paso.
That sounds right. Right. Well, it's
it may not
there.
be 18 hours now because they have it's like the Autobahn out there. They're doing it says 75 or 80 and everybody's
95. Yeah.
I've heard Austin keeps growing because it not because people are coming into Austin, but I'm also told it's growing like literally because there's like not that much outside of it, so it kind of like literally grows its border.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. That sounds accurate because you're right. There's just hill country.
Boston has the sea. Boston can't go anywhere. It's crushed by like other cities and the sea, and so it's 10 minutes to walk across Boston. But I think Austin would be
minutes?
Like, oh yeah,
are you being literal?
You can walk.
If you try to do that with
20
Houston,
minutes.
If you try to do that with Houston, you'd be there for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just talking the loop. Yeah.
I think the top to the bottom of Boston, like vertically, it might be 50 minutes or something. But horizontally, it's like 10, 20. And I used to commute in and out of Boston every day from like the
Yeah.
far end all the way out into another, like into Cambridge.
I wish
Gotcha.
everything was a little closer because I have a lot of friends in South Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it's the border of Austin is really weird.
What else is Austin up to?
Well, dude, it is a
I haven't
weird
been out
city.
there.
I'll tell you the funny thing about Austin, right? And I'm a libertarian, so I really kind of fall in the middle on a lot of things. I'm somewhat socially liberal and very fiscally conservative, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm trying. I came here because I wanted to be somewhere in Texas where I could be myself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And out there, if you don't, in West Texas, if you don't vote Republican on everything, and not to say that I don't or do, because I don't share who I vote for, but if you don't vote straight party line, which I pretty much never do, I vote. I try to be a responsible voter, right?
Well, here and there.
Right. And well, anyhow, when I moved here, I felt like it was a really cool place where people are a little more free thinking than the rest of Texas. But the thing that I've kind of noticed too is they sometimes tend to go just like, they complain about the far right. The far left is very present here in Austin. I mean, it's all over the place. And if you don't think like they do or agree with everything they do, a lot of times they'll cut people off. Yeah. It's really touch and go when you get into politics. And that's why, like, when it comes to work, I don't like bringing that into work or anything like that, because I mean,
I believe whatever I'm going to believe as far as politics go, but it's like if you see it where you have all these stickers from like all the same party everywhere you go, if you see a different sticker, you're probably going to be looked at differently than the rest of the floor, basically. And it's just kind of shitty. Makes you feel shitty, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And to me, like, any place of work, let's just poor taste to put anything political on laptops or wear shirts into work and stuff. It's just not right.
Yeah.
But I don't get into it here because my politics I piss off everybody.
Fair. Yeah, maybe just like tribalism in general is a little bit of a poor taste, right? It's like you don't need a company that's 50% Democrat, 50% Republican.
Right.
You need a company that's 100% people who aren't going to care. Right?
Yeah. For real though. Like, there's so many companies that are like that now. Like, it's like that's their calling card, where it's like, I don't want to name names, but Peter Thiel totally fucking does that. It's like, if you're not part of that mind group think, or that hive mind, then you're not in. I don't know.
I didn't know Peter Thiel did that, but I do know he hates. Like, he's very political, but how does he enforce it within his companies?
He doesn't the way he put it in his book made me think that, like, nearly 100%. Like, I can't prove that he does that.
Who is this?
So he helped co-found PayPal with Elon Musk, and I always forget how to pronounce his name, but Lev something or another. Sorry.
Okay.
But they co-founded PayPal, and with that money, Peter Thiel founded Palantir, which does a lot of security stuff with government. And we don't have to get into the politics of all that, but just the way he put it in his book, it was like, if you're not like thinking the same way, then you're probably not going to work for the same company, and you shouldn't hire those people.
Yeah, so he believes in, and there's got to be a ring of truth to it to some extent. Like, that's why his book is kind of.
No, yeah, I love his
book. We're
book.
talking about 0 to 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, it kind of like, it's really interesting. I don't think it's the only way to do it, but he talks a lot about how companies are almost like cults.
Yes,
and they have this shared mindset, this shared vision, and that's and like the people inside of it are just so totally convinced, like they have this extra motivation, and like they agree and they can get things done very quickly. It's been a while since I read it, so that might not be exact take.
No, you're
but
pretty on point.
yeah.
Um,
And so I can see how that sometimes is better, but also like there's got to be something to diversity of thought and having
Yeah.
other ideas in the room.
No, you're very right.
yeah.
Like when I was reading that part, it was like I feel like I'm misinterpreting what he's saying, because that's not how I'd be going about this. Because like you said, it's if everyone in the room is agreeing with you, you're never gonna hear no when it's like that's gonna blow the shit up like tonight. So I get what you mean.
Yeah. I don't think a company should ever be like a party
Straight ticket.
affiliated.
Yeah.
But
Oh, right.
it makes sense to have a company that might be like in certain categories. Like Airbnb would be pro, I don't know, like something about rental policy in some
Yeah.
way.
I know.
Okay.
Pro bed bugs.
Pro bed
Thanks.
bugs, yeah. Have you gotten bed bugs from an Airbnb?
No.
That'd be terrible.
That would be
I'd be upset.
experience.
Because that costs you money too. You got to like throw
That'd
out
be
your
such a bad
messages and stuff,
review.
I think, to deal with that. Yeah.
They usually throw them out after I'm done with them anyhow. No. The other day I got mistaken for a rock star. I thought that was great.
Oh, nice.
Who was it?
It was just this lady I met. Like she's like, "Are you in a band?" And I'm like, "No." She was older. I was like, "No, but thank you. You want an autograph?"
I do
You should have given
autographs,
the
though.
autograph, right? Because who
No.
doesn't want that experience of like meeting a fan
Oh,
on the
yeah.
street and giving an
Just
autograph?
pretend
So
you
few
are.
people get
It's
that.
all that. That's it. It's just the
I was gonna ask.
tattoos. They just don't know.
You just got to take it like you get it all the time. Just like, oh yeah, you got something I can sign, you know, and just like do it and be like, oh, nice to meet a fan, and just walk away, right?
Sev, is that how you interact with people on the street?
I would if I was quick enough at thinking. Chances are I would like you know, like empathize with the person too quickly and be like, oh no. Oh, what are you like? Who are you looking for? Or something like that. You know,
Try to help them.
Although sometimes I mess with people on the street. There's a lot of tourists walking around Boston being very confused, and I'll be like, hey, oh, you guys need a photo together? And I'll like take their phone and they'll be like, haha, and I'll run away with it. And I'll sell it on eBay. Just messing around, you know.
E-commerce.
E-commerce, exactly.
Full circle.
Full circle. Welcome to the internet. Today we're joined by Topher. Topher and I actually worked together at Ecommerce for about a year, maybe a little less, on the community team.
Currently, I'm working for Camber Creative. We're a digital agency, fully distributed, so we don't have an office. But we do mobile work, web work, WordPress, all that stuff. I live in Michigan, where we've had a little bit of snow, but not nearly enough.
Is it has it been less snow than it normally is?
We're pretty close to normal. Google, my phone says, check out last year's pictures all the time.
Yeah.
And last year, this weekend, we got 3 inches of snow.
Gotcha.
So
We don't get that here. Down in Austin. What's funny is when we do get snow, it's this little drizzle of a snow.
People freak out.
yeah.
And people freak out, slide off the road, man. It's like
When I used to travel down there for work, I would bring my summer shorts in January.
Oh yeah, you were making fun of me because of all the layers I had on. I remember that.
Yes, like 6
It's
coats and
It's like 50
3
degrees.
pair of pants.
Yeah.
Are you going ice fishing?
Right. So
Yeah.
we're gonna actually continue the e-commerce topic. I figured that'd make the most sense with our panel today. And we might be able to get some history here too. With Topher's been on the internet for quite some time. So, what was your first online purchase? And if that's different from your first online transaction, what was that?
I have no idea. That was like 25 years ago, man.
Yeah, you're asking
I've got
us old guys, and we are
Quarter of a
remember
century.
that.
Okay, I've got a story. So my first purchase was actually through my aunt because I was like 13 at the time, and I wanted these Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I was like,
So you were 13.
so I was 13, and I needed these Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I called up my aunt, and I was like, hey, have you used eBay before? Have you heard of this thing called PayPal? Because this was back in like 2004-ish, when PayPal was pretty new, and fortunately I have a pretty technically savvy aunt, and she was like, yeah, I've used eBay, I've used PayPal, and she ended up buying it for me. So I've always counted that as my first transaction online, even though it was through someone else, but yeah.
I have
I
no idea
remember-
when mine was.
I
No idea.
remember my mom coming to me and saying, there's this cool new thing on the internet where you can buy used books. It's called Amazon.
Amazon.
And used books is all they sold. And it was just a warehouse in the middle of nowhere selling you old used books. And then
It
many
started
years
in a
later,
garage.
yeah, many years later, a friend of mine came up with a scheme to make money where he would buy used books from places going out of business.
Oh,
So
yeah,
he'd buy literally 100,000 books and catalog them and sell them on eBay, and he made some money. It was a lot of work.
Right, right.
And he came to me one day and said, did you know you can sell used books on Amazon?
Yeah.
I'm like, did you know Amazon is a used bookstore?
Right.
So you can also buy a washing machine?
Right. Now, this is something I forgot to bring up in our conversation with Seve. We kind of talked about Amazon, where, like, for the longest time, that's who I would associate. Oh, I need to find a book. I'm going to go to Amazon. And now it's just, I
Yeah.
need anything. I'm going to go to Amazon, at least most of the time.
Yep.
Have either of you sold anything on eBay or Amazon, or, I mean, even Craigslist, I guess?
I actually have sold quite a bit, I think, on eBay. I've done a lot of guitar trading and stuff, and buying guitars on Facebook Marketplace. But yeah, I would say I've done a ton of stuff on eBay. But last couple of years, it's been mostly Amazon.
Gotcha.
And I hate that
I've never-
because I hate not giving to the little guy, but sometimes it's just so convenient.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Amazon's very convenient.
I've never sold anything online. Like really, like I've done stuff like say on Twitter, hey, I have this thing, anybody want it? And my buddy says, I'll bring it over $10. You know,
Yeah.
I don't consider that selling online. I've only bought a couple of things from like eBay.
eBay, it's like there's more of
eBay's
a
always
risk.
felt a little, yeah, eBay's always felt a little more dodgy to me.
Especially
When-
now. It just feels so
Yeah.
old and antiquated.
Yeah.
When my daughter was born, we gave her a plush chicken. You guys remember the Garfield cartoon show,
Yeah.
U.S. Acres? And there was a chicken named Booker. So we gave her
Okay.
Booker. And when she was about 3 or 4, he was pretty worn. And so we went to
Oh.
find her another one. And it took forever, but we finally found one on eBay, which she immediately rejected because
not the
it was
same.
Not the same.
Was it like
that
a
was our
different?
biggest experience.
Was it like a
No, it
different
was the same.
plush? Okay, it's different to
Nope,
her.
it was exactly the same one.
Gotcha.
It's just that, in fact, hers, the plush all wore off, and she pointed out one day that her Booker was kind of bumpy now, and so now she had fuzzy Booker and bumpy Booker.
Gotcha.
Now my father-in-law, who is a tinfoil hat wearing anti-internet farmer marine, fell in love with eBay one day.
Oh no.
He bought a Ford Bronco 2, like a 1984 or whatever, from a guy down the road, and you can get them with a tire on the back, and his did not have that, and he wanted that. And I said, have you tried eBay? And a couple of days later, he wrote me and said, hey, I found a door for my Bronco. I'm like, that's awesome.
It's very
He said,
specific.
yeah, but I had to buy the whole Bronco to get it.
It's a little different.
Except the engine and transmission were shot. So he paid $200 for this Bronco and got the door.
Okay.
Buying a door by itself was like $800.
Right.
Mhm.
So he bought this other Bronco And then he's like, you know what? I'd really like a manual transmission in mine. So he went back to eBay and he found a manual transmission, but it was in another Bronco where the engine was shot. So he paid like $300 and bought a third Bronco. By the time he was done outfitting his Bronco, he owned 8.
Oh my God.
And they were all in a row out back of the barn. And he drove hundreds of miles. He was retired. He was bored.
Yeah.
His buddy was retired and bored and owned a big truck with a trailer. So they'd go on the road for the weekend and like go to Ohio and pick up a Bronco. He almost went to New Mexico to buy a Bronco for $12.
I mean, it's a good deal.
But he couldn't bring himself to drive all the way to New Mexico.
Yeah.
But so he bought all of these on eBay. So he hates the internet. It is the tool of Satan, and it's going to be the downfall of society and all of that. But he loves his eBay. And
Nice.
Eventually, a couple of kids from down the road came to him and said, "Hey, Mom needs a car, and we don't have any money. Do you have anything we could fix up?" And he said, "I'll tell you what.
I've got
I have
8.
8 Broncos.
Yeah.
You make 3 run, and you can have one."
Oh, yeah.
And so they got one for their mom. He got one, and I got one.
Nice. It's a good deal.
And it worked out. That's my eBay story.
Yeah, no, it's a good story.
eBay's great for those things I feel like that you cannot find anywhere else. And like I feel like you go to eBay and like there, and it's like you might not get it. You know.
Yeah. You know, though,
It's
Amazon's
even
getting a
worse
lot
if
more
you go
like
to like
that.
an Alibaba. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazon's getting more like that. Just today, I was talking with somebody about a book. In 1977, there was an animated version of The Hobbit, a movie.
Good movie.
And soon after, somebody released a book of The Hobbit. It was a coffee table book, full edition, like not edited, but it was illustrated from the movie.
Oh, wow.
And my mom had one, and I loved it. And this guy was like, "I need one of those so bad."
Yeah.
And we went to Amazon, and of course, they're not selling it. It's been out of print forever, but it said 14 other sellers. And
Right.
it ranged anywhere from a beat up old crappy version for $90 up to a mint condition one for like $1,300.
Whoa.
But that's the sort of stuff I would expect to find at eBay.
Yeah.
And yet,
So
there it was
what
on
I
Amazon.
what I really like is there's these sub sites now, you know, and the best example of like a sub site that's like to me not like Amazon or eBay is like Reverb, you know. Are you familiar with Reverb at all?
No.
That's new to me.
Nope. What's the address?
So it's just reverb.com. I'm gonna share my screen because I want to show y'all some of the really cool stuff like that I this is the thing that if when I get on there, it's like I get stuck for hours, you know.
Yeah. That's the other thing with eBay is I'll find myself in rabbit holes. Like, I was just looking for one thing, and now I'm in this rabbit hole of video games.
Yeah. Like Wikipedia.
Right.
Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So the neat thing about this is it's all based on, let's say, for instance, we want to go to this particular product, right? It shows just like, eBay, it has the buyer confidence.
Sure.
And then it actually shows I haven't seen as many on this, you know?
So what engine is driving this? Is this eBay?
It's Reverb. It's its own thing. In fact,
okay.
they're
They're running BigCommerce or WordPress.
Right. No, they're not running BigCommerce or WordPress. This is its own entity.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But one of the cool things about it, like if you come up here, you can develop your own feed too. And so it knows exactly the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. And it'll pull it up on a regular basis and give me, tons of stuff to choose from. And it is addictive. I'm a gearhead, so when it comes to music, and I can stay on here forever. And the other side of that is they also Reverb, and I don't see it on here, but they also have a
Like a marketplace sort of thing.
Yeah, well, it's what it is it's like a vinyl marketplace. So, or at least they used to. Maybe they took it down, but Reverb had vinyl and it was pretty neat. So I don't see it on here, and probably pulling away from eBay as far as music because people trust it. I mean, smart thing to do if you're wanting to develop a platform would be to go and find out what the biggest users on eBay are for what products. I mean, other than the basic stuff, clothing and stuff like that. Try to find some niches and build auction type sites for that, similar to Reverb. That there certainly is a need because of that, because people don't necessarily trust the old standards of eBay and Amazon.
No, we were just saying that we have this. There's this more of a risk with eBay and Amazon. It's like just one click and you expect it on your doorstep in a few days.
Yeah.
You brought up. Sorry, go ahead.
I was the other day mourning the loss of one of my favorite stores.
What was that?
Have you been to ThinkGeek.com recently?
Yes. No. Unfortunately.
What is it?
ThinkGeek.com. Do you remember them?
ThinkGeek.
Yes, ThinkGeek.com was the best place. It was like Reverb, except for every nerdy tool toy ever.
Oh.
And GameStop bought them.
And
that's sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm assuming you're looking at a 404 page.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
that's just cold.
Yeah. It's not even a redirect.
History.
We got archive.org, I guess. That'd be an interesting one to look at early days. I bought so much stuff from there too. When they were going out of sale, I bought a lamp, a Harry Potter lamp. They had all this stuff at like 25% normal price. So it was like that lamp was like $100. I got for like 20. Actually, you might have seen that lamp when you were in office.
Probably. Yeah. Are you guys familiar with Scientific American?
Yes.
Yes.
I was thinking the other day that they should start a line of stuff kind of like ThinkGeek.
I could see that.
Where it's toys. Oh, if I go to Scientific American, it's not the catalog of stuff I thought it was. This is a news site. When I was a kid,
Scientific American.
It was a magazine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or a catalog, yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different thing, but the thing that my grandfather used to send me all the time, it was a catalog where you could buy magnets and telescopes and bimetallic coins and every scientific thingy you might ever want. Boy, now I need to find out where the real name is. But I was thinking they should do something like ThinkGeek where, you get into science by buying a $12 telescope when you're 8, and then
they have like
a
tiers.
cooler one in high school and so on. Yeah,
for sure.
I'm trying to go back on the web archive, and it's not even letting me see it on the web archive.
Oh no!
Oh, rough.
Oh, there it is. There it is. I see it. Oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
What was the engine that drove this? Do you know, or was it?
I don't remember. I looked back and
they were started by the people that owned Slashdot and and SourceForge and all of that.
So it's probably custom, if I'd guess.
Yeah, because it was probably written in Perl.
That's
it's older than dirt.
So kind of a shift in topic, but how often do you use the Google Play Store or Apple's App Store often, or you could say iTunes, I suppose. It's kind of a mix.
No, never ever.
Are you being sarcastic?
When iTunes came out, I thought, hey, I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
And so I downloaded it on a Mac in the office, and the Mac was connected to my Linux box via NFS.
Okay.
So it knew where my drive was, and it said, "Hey, where's your music?" I said, "Oh, it's right there." And it said, "Would you like us to organize it?"
Oh
I
no.
thought, "Sure." And after about 45 seconds, I realized what was happening and killed it. But that was enough time to take
Yeah.
about a third of my library and take all the file names and call them artist1 underscore 1 underscore 1 underscore 1,
Oh,
song 1, title 1, and all that. And for years, I still have a little folder full of files that I haven't filtered through yet. I said never, ever, ever again is iTunes going to have anything to do with my music.
Yeah. No, that's very fair. I came to a similar situation.
Yeah, and then for so long you could only play it on Apple devices and stuff like that,
You had
and
to like
licensing is
convert.
horrible.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but
converting
now
everything.
if I want to buy digital, I buy it from Amazon and download the MP3s and stick in my folder. I use Plex for my media,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I play my songs through Plex.
so you don't use any kind of service?
No, not really. My family likes YouTube, so we bought YouTube Red, whatever that is.
Yeah,
Um,
I have that too.
yeah, so we can stream music as much as we want in the car, and they like it more than even my music library. Like I'm like, hey, we have Plex, you can just hook it up and play all our music. They're like, nah, we're gonna find it on YouTube.
Right. See, I'm like in the opposite camp where if it's on YouTube, it just doesn't sound the same half the time, or they don't have it half the time. So I have to use. I'm not using Plex currently. It was using so much of just hard drive space just for caching. So I ended up just deleting it, and I'll just go through the folder manually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 20 gigs or something, which I have like a 200 gig library, so that's kind of fair. But yeah, that's a huge chunk just for caching.
Yeah. Hey, I found that site that I was thinking. American Scientific. I pasted the link in the chat.
Gotcha.
And they have a coffee mug with caffeine thingy on it, but you can also buy a mini robot that will go get your coffee for you. And little conductivity meter tester, pH paper test strips, litmus paper, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that they should have more toy-like things.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, this could be just, yeah, we all have to look at built with to see what it's made of. It's woo. It's a woo site. It's a woo.
Oh.
A woo. Nice.
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great?
Mhm.
We got all the puns here. The next question is, what is your must-buy for 2020? And I get that answer might be a little weird because COVID. It doesn't have to be COVID related though.
It's interesting because when I left Ecommerce, I had to send back my cool MacBook, my big monitor, and all that stuff. And I'm like, I need to replace all this stuff. But Jeremy, you probably don't know, my wife and I are planning on hitting the road and living in an RV next year. So I don't want a 24-inch monitor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a giant laptop. I don't want so many things, and so I'm actually scaling back. I am considering, because I need a new machine. I'm using a 2013 Mac right now. Strongly considering a System 76 Linux box.
Yeah.
They just came out with all new hardware, and it is gorgeous.
We had a guest last week who that's what he uses primarily, and he loves it for what it's worth.
Yes, System 76 is a daggum good brand, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. If I was going to have a PC, that's what I would probably do, and I would use Ubuntu on it for me, just because I'm not as technical.
Yeah.
But I've said this before on here. I just wish Adobe was on.
Yeah.
If that's all I ask,
Yeah.
if they put Adobe on it, I'm good. I don't need anything else.
Right. Did you see
Everything
the
else I use is SaaS.
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Did you see the M1 MacBooks? They're like $1,000. Like instead of starting
Yeah.
at 1,400 or something crazy. Yeah, no, I've been looking.
I
at
know some
those too.
people that have tried them and like them.
Yeah. Pretty different from System
in-
76 though.
Yeah. In 1998, I had what did they call it? It was a machine specially made for web developers from, their system was called IRIX. Oh man, now I can't think of their name. But anyway, it was like a $13,000 computer.
Oh wow.
And ran IRIX for their Unix, and it came with Photoshop 3.0 for Unix.
Nice.
And so I know it can be done.
Right.
Yeah.
They can run Photoshop on Unix. Well, they're running on OS 10.
Right.
You know,
It's
SGI. It was an SGI computer.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Nice.
And now those $13,000 boxes are like $300 on eBay.
Yeah.
You want to see Mac have to run for the hills a little bit to figure out, put that out there. They start putting like boxes out like that
Yeah.
where you can actually use, like a guy like me can run Ubuntu and use that. I don't care about the rest. I use stuff on my iPhone that is particular to the iPhone, but to me, that's almost like where I want to use that type of program, right? So an app.
Yeah.
Right?
And
the apps don't appeal to me that much in Apple.
For so long, everybody designed websites in Photoshop, and now almost no one does. It's in Figma.
Yeah.
And there's another one that starts with an S. What is that?
I was thinking of an XD.
I know what you're talking about. Geez.
So,
yeah, I have it.
Photoshop
Sketch.
is a lot
SketchUp.
less significant. Sketch, yeah.
Yeah.
Sketch.
And they're
yeah.
web-based, aren't they?
Yeah.
They might be now. They used to have an app, but I'm sure they're web-based now.
Yeah, I think it's web-based now.
And so it's suddenly a lot less of a big deal. And I've been running Linux on my desktop for 25 years, and for a long, long time, it's like, oh, there's no Microsoft Office compatible thing. And now it's all Google Docs.
Right.
I mean,
right.
nobody cares that there isn't a LibreOffice
Yeah.
is compatible with Office. Who cares?
Yeah.
So much web stuff now.
Right. Did either of you make any Black Friday, Cyber Monday purchases?
Nope.
Yeah.
Not if my wife's watching.
It's all a scam.
Yeah. Yeah, this year I think more than any other has revealed how little
Right.
Black Friday matters.
Right.
And a lot of stores are just saying, our Black Friday deals are just a month long, and there isn't a day.
Yeah.
It's different.
Well,
I had to explain the significance of Cyber Monday to my kids. Back in the day when no one had internet at home, and everybody went back to work the weekend after Thanksgiving and bought all their stuff on their computers at work.
Yeah.
And that's why Monday was a killer.
Yep. I do want to say too, BigCommerce actually had a record Black Friday this time. I think it was something.
I saw that somebody posted 74%.
I think 76, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
increase.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Brent said like 67% that morning, so that's pretty cool. It went up even further.
Yeah. I'd seen it on a post on LinkedIn.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's probably more up to date.
Yeah.
What blew my mind more than anything was how high traffic was during the beginning of the pandemic. Like
Yeah.
3 months straight of every day being Black Friday.
Right.
That's just insane. Kyle, you had something in the notes that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
I remember when Pizza Hut became one of the first places you could buy anything online, and you could order a pizza over Telnet.
Oh, okay.
You would just Telnet into pizzahut.com and use their little command line interface to order a pizza. And I can't even imagine how that was secure in any way.
It wasn't. That's why there's some debate. That's why I include that in the notes. Is the first secure online payment appears to have been this one on August 11th, 94, where it was on a site called Netmarket. I never heard of it before today. So that was the first secure payment, and then the Pizza Hut one may not have been as secure.
Yeah.
Before people knew about security, and now people are.
Right.
It's funny. You probably run into this too, Topher. But like every once in a while, I'll build a site in WordPress for somebody, and they don't realize they need an SSL.
Yeah.
They don't have any idea what it is. Generally, you're more likely to hear something or people to know it in e-commerce, but when it comes to like WordPress and stuff, I'm like, no, you have to have it. You need to have it, not because of purchases, but it's going to make it look like your site is insecure and people are going to bounce.
No, and that's
when
I'm sorry, go ahead.
When I first got on the internet, email servers were not secured in any way. And so you could Telnet to pretty much any domain name, port 21, and log in and start typing out email headers and hit enter and send an email. And so I was going to a pretty conservative Christian college at the time, and we had a VAX VMS.
Hold on. Which one?
College?
Yeah, which college?
Cornerstone College.
Okay.
It was Grand Rapids Baptist College at the time. You probably heard it pretty well.
I went to Bible college. So
yeah, where?
Yeah. Southwestern Assemblies of God University in Waxahachie, Texas.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's the Bible college that Jimmy Swaggart went to. So.
Oh, I see.
And there's quite a few other names involved with it, but that's the one that almost everybody in our age range knows that one. Yeah.
Yep. So we used to SSH to mail servers and send email to our to our fellow students from god@heaven.org. And it never occurred to them that this wasn't real. And there were some people that were pretty freaked out to be getting email from God. And I'm like, God's been around a while. Long before email. You think maybe
you mean
communicating
John.
with people other ways. Yes, maybe God. Yeah.
Since you're a GIF guy, you mean John.
Yeah. So when I first got on the web, when I wanted to experience the web, I would Telnet to an open links server at the University of Arizona or something, and just log into an open terminal at the university that anyone in the world could use. Like every university in the world just had open Telnet, and you could just log into their system and do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah,
it was a crazy time.
I guess what I was wanting to kind of pick your brain at, I know you have experience both in e-commerce and in WordPress. And being a WordPress guy myself, I'm also interested in what kind of framework that you use. Like, do you use like a theme framework like a Divi or Elementor or Beaver Builder or any of those when you build?
Nope.
What do you use?
I hate them all. I hate them all equally and fairly.
Equally and fairly. Okay.
Yeah. So, my favorite way to build is to take a custom design from a designer.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a Photoshop or a Figma or whatever, and I hand that off to a front-end developer who turns it into HTML5, CSS and JavaScript, not WordPress. This is like static HTML5.
Yeah.
Then I take that and I turn that into a theme.
Mhm.
And so when you do that, you certainly don't want a page builder. A page builder would get in the way and be horrendously annoying. When it comes to ease of content management, I prefer to, rather than like directly editing a page in Elementor or something, I prefer to use things like custom post types and just leveraging taxonomies, categories, and all that. So, like, if you wanted to make a staff page, rather than pull up Elementor and drop in 10 people's pictures and write their names under them, I would make a custom post type called staff, and each person would get an entry, and it would have their own meta boxes full of all their data, and it would magically create for you an archive page that lists them all with a single page for each person. And then you just print their metadata, and you have a perfect template that works every time, and no one's ever going to screw up.
Yeah.
Now I have to say I'm a Divi guy, but I hate Elementor. I do not like. Oh yeah, Elementor is weird. And maybe it's just because I'm so used to Divi, but I had a lot more trouble building with Elementor than I ever did with Divi. And the way that I prefer to do with Divi is I started out doing kind of like what you were talking about, where we would, turn it into HTML and CSS and then, turn it into a template, and did the exact same thing. And that's a great method. But for me, I just changed one thing, which was when they build it, I have them build it in the theme editor. And generally, like anything I can design, I can do in Divi for the most part.
Yeah.
So, and with a little bit of CSS, you're there,
Yeah.
It is a different mentality, but yeah, I wondered if you had a particular builder now. Is there anything else, like, as far as like, what is your favorite plugin on WordPress? What are some of your give me your top 5 if you can.
Like must-haves or must-install.
Yeah,
must-have. Okay, so caching is a really big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And WP Rocket, in my opinion, is really the only option out there right now. There are a ton of caching plugins, but WP Rocket is way ahead of the game.
Is there anything specific, like anything in particular that makes it?
Well, by comparison, my next best pick would be WP Super Cache.
Okay.
And WP Super Cache has hundreds of options, knobs and dials you can tweak and fiddle with, and screw things up with.
Yeah.
WP Rocket does all those things, but removes your
knobs.
ability to set the options and makes sane defaults.
Gotcha.
And it's beautiful. It's fast. I was recently asked. I did a review of WP Rocket. They asked me to do one, to do a blog post about it, and I was using a host, which will remain nameless, that has built-in caching.
Oh.
Yeah.
And many of the good ones do. In fact, many of them don't allow caching plugins because they do their own caching. And WP Rocket is allowed on most of them, which speaks well of it because it does so many things beyond server-side caching. So I was on this host and using their caching, and they said, well, try it with WP Rocket and see what happens. So I turned off all caching altogether and was very surprised to find the site ran faster than with the built-in server caching. And then I turned on WP Rocket, and it ran much faster. Nice. And then the server caching offered as an option only memcache, which isn't it's not caching. It's a caching tool, But WP Rocket can leverage that. And so when I turned on Memcache on the server, it was just a checkbox, and ran WP Rocket on top of that, I cut my load time by 2/3.
Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
significant.
and it is significant because it was a very light page. There wasn't a whole lot to shave off.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so to increase it that much was very dramatic. So I love WP Rocket because it can go on top of just about anybody else's plugin or hosting and still do good work. What else? There's a whole bunch that I like. I did a blog post about this recently. There's one called Public Preview.
Okay.
And what it does is so say you're writing a blog post and you want somebody else to look at it. If they don't have a login, they can't see either the editor or the preview. So you would have to save a draft or something.
Right.
Mhm.
But public preview gives you a little checkbox, and you say, I want a public preview, and it gives you a custom URL that you can hand out to anybody that lets someone see the post before it's published.
That's
So
yeah.
if you're writing a post, you want your friend to proofread, they need access. You just give them the little public preview link, and they read it over, and then you turn it off.
That's really useful,
Yeah.
especially building content.
Yep.
Right. Like normally for if you haven't used WordPress before, you'd have to create a new user, give them the right permissions, and then they could
Yeah.
possibly look at it, but they also have to log in, and it just cuts out at least 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah. There's one that I very much admire, and I only use on one site, and I don't use it well because I don't have the right use case for it. But there's one called Publish Press, and it is, it's a fork of another one called Edit Flow, and what it does is enhance the edit flow of publishing. So it assumes that you have a publishing team that works in collaboration on a post. So you write a post, and then you can ping your editor and say, I'm handing this off to you now. Please read it over and let me know. And then that person gets an email. They can come in, read it over, leave notes on it, and send it back to you and say, no, now it's your turn.
Yeah.
And you can do this a bunch of times, but it also has a thing where you can create a checklist of things that need to be done, and you cannot publish until they're all checked. So you can say, you got to go fill out the Yoast box for SEO. You have to pick the right author. You have to set 3 categories. You have to blah, blah, blah. And you can't publish until then.
It's called what? What's the name of it again?
Publish Press.
Publish Press. Okay.
And it can help you create new roles in WordPress. So beyond the author, editor, contributor thing, you can create roles that have very specific permissions to say you can only edit this one custom post type or something. It's really slick.
Nice.
Sounds cool. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have a preferred hosting? Is there a certain hosting company that you really dig?
You know, there are 4 or 5 that I admire for different reasons.
Right.
So I've been a DreamHost customer now for, I think, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe it's 18. I don't remember. I got my email the other day saying thank you very much. And I've used them forever and ever. And one of the reasons is that I pay $10 a month, and I can set up multiple sites there.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Now, I have hit my resource limit long ago. And so I don't really use it that much, but I have so much stuff there that I don't want to move it away. I'm too lazy.
I have some old hosting I've got to eliminate this year. So
yeah. So I use SiteGround for a very similar reason. I'm paying a relatively low amount, and I can set up as many sites as I want. And I don't really run these sites. It's more like I want to test out a new plugin. So I spin up WordPress, install the plugin, try it out, and burn it down.
Gotcha.
Whereas if I were at someplace like WP Engine, it'd be like, oh, you want another website? Let's spin up another account. That's $40 a month. Here you go.
Right.
So there's another host called Convesio.
It's a new one to me.
That, yeah, they're a BigCommerce partner, relatively new. But their really cool shtick is that their system resources will grow to match what you need in the moment, and then shrink when you don't need it anymore. And you only pay for the extended resources during the time they're being used. So you've got a funny little website doing nothing. You're paying $5 a month. Suddenly you're on the Today Show, and your site does not go down, even though you're on $5 budget hosting, because you're not really on $5 budget hosting. It's on hosting that can grow to $300 a month budget, hosting for 3 days, and then spin it back down.
Nice.
And it does it automatically. You don't have to call them and say, help, I'm on the Today Show. It just does it.
That's great.
So they're really great for chaotic traffic.
Nice.
Pagely is amazing for enterprise. They're relatively speaking, they're crazy expensive. Hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per month for hosting.
Gotcha.
However, they host Disney, Coca-Cola, and
I see.
whatnot. So when you need the big stuff, Pagely is all over it. They're amazing. WP Engine just kind of floats in the middle. They're nice. They're good. They're fine. I like them more now that I found out that I can SSH into a staging server. And if I make changes on staging, they're automatically magically copied to production.
Huh.
That's the one I use the most, is probably WP Engine. But
yeah,
Conversio or what is
Convesio?
Convesio?
Here, I'll send you the link. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds really interesting, because you do get customers that aren't going to have a ton of traffic, right? Or you have other ones that fluctuate a lot. It's seasonal.
Right. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Let's see here. Where's the chat? There it is. There we go.
I spelled it right.
Yeah, so I met the Convesio guy at WordCamp US last October, November, whenever that was. And we talked long and deep about WordPress hosting and stuff like that.
Nice.
They host a website for my wife, I think. He worked for them for a few months.
Gotcha. Something I forgot to ask, Topher, where can people find you on the internet? Where do you want them to find you, at least?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. It's a good answer.
So let me tell you this. My online handle is Topher1 Kenobi with a number 1. Topher number 1 Kenobe. And if you Google that, you will find me literally everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Last.fm, Slack, WordPress.org, WordPress.tv, you name it.
Nice.
I'm everywhere.
Nice.